Hi, what's up? I'm back again. This is the 8th episode of Introverts Talk To. I'm pretty sure. And that means that this will probably be the conclusion of this little go around of Introverts Talk To. First, I am going to do some more because I really enjoy doing this. It's such like a therapeutic thing. Like I can't tell you how much this is actually fun to me. I knew I wanted to do it, but I don't know. And for anyone to be listening to it and like relating to it, I really appreciate that, and it's great. So episode 8, this episode here is going to be about how socially burned out I got. And yeah, I touched on this before, but I wanted to go like a little bit more in depth about it, take you a few years back to even my high school experience and what that was like and how my social life was like then, and then how I got to where I am now, where my social life is not exactly where I'd love it to be, but you know, I'm enjoying my being on my own, I guess, being by myself right now. But let's take a little journey on how that came to be. I'm originally from New Jersey. Right now I'm in Florida. I'm in college here and whatever. But my family moved here my senior year, but we'll get to that. But I used to live in New Jersey, and I was, raised there. I was there for the majority of my life. And, went to elementary, middle, and high school there. And I guess I could say, had a group of friends. I don't think, lacked a group of friends. I wasn't the most popular person. I wouldn't consider myself popular at all. But I knew friends. I had friends that knew popular people. So, I feel like, and this is like elementary, middle, high school. I could say that for all of my grades. I had friends that knew these people. So, I talked to these people sometimes, and, it never really was on my mind that, I don't like, my social situation right now. I don't think that ever really was the case when I was in K through 12. So, I was in high school in New Jersey, and I had my, I guess, solid group of friends. You love your group of friends in high school because, I didn't really have much drama with my friends at all, which is actually really nice. I looked around and there was a lot of other girls who were dealing with drama and boyfriends and their friends stealing their boyfriends and, someone talking behind their back. And I didn't really have that, which I can say I'm really grateful for. So I felt like the friends that I had and the friends that I chose were, good friends. Everybody, when you start getting older though, you start, to drift apart, do your own thing. And that did happen a little bit, but I can tell you not much. I moved into a certain town in 7th grade, which was middle school, and then I stayed there in that town till about 11th grade. So I had a long time in that area to make and keep friends. So I basically had the same friends for like 5 years straight, and that I could definitely say that was nice. I had friends. I never really thought about my social life like that. I never really, I didn't ever lack someone to talk to. I always had someone to like call and ask to go hang out at the movies or the mall or talk on FaceTime. I always had somebody to do that with. So there I didn't really lack. And it's funny how like I never really thought about my social life when I was in that situation. I never really thought about it like as a serious topic to ponder about and what I was going to do about it. So I enjoyed that. I always had someone to sit with at lunch. I always had someone to walk around the school with. I always had somebody in my class that I knew, and I'll say usually I had someone in my class that I knew, but for the most part, obviously high school is, you're stuck with these same people every single day, so you're kind of forced to learn everybody, but I'm pretty sure I always had someone in my class that was considered like my friend, which was really nice, made class a lot more fun. And if I didn't have anyone in there, I made friends with the person sitting next to me and the person sitting behind me, and we would end up talking and end up making a classroom acquaintance. I think a lot of us had those in high school. So you knew the people around you. I was also on the cheer team, which I could say I didn't really enjoy, but you have those experiences that you like and the experiences that you don't like. I was a cheerleader for 2 years. 2 different years. My freshman year, I took a break my sophomore year, and then my junior year, I think I went back. And my freshman year, I think it was an interesting experience. I was around a lot of people. I didn't feel like so socially anxious as I do now. I came with the people from middle school, so a lot of the people I already knew. So it was really like I never really had to readjust. The only way I had to readjust was with the other people that came from the other middle school, and like now you're like with all these other people. So I definitely never really had to readjust too much. But then I took a break from cheer because, it was a weird experience. I didn't really like it. I mean, girls are mean. Other girls in high school are mean. High school girls are friggin' mean. Like I don't know what is going on, but like I really do not think I could survive in high school right now. Like in high school is like way more intense now. Like listening to stories that my sisters are telling me from the same high school that I used to go to, I was like, I don't think there's any way possible I could survive high school right now. And I can say that I probably wasn't the nicest person, but, I think that just comes with being a high school girl. You just don't know. I never was like, thoroughly like directly mean to anybody, but, I probably said some opinions on the sidelines to somebody else, like gossiped that, probably was unnecessary. But anyway, then I went back to cheerleading my junior year, which was an experience that was probably worse than the freshman year. I think as you're like getting older and getting, into the upper level, years in high school, you start to think, you're a little bit better, and that just comes with high school. That just comes like as you get older. I mean, as you go into the upper level, you've been here, what's going on in this school, blah blah blah. So I think there was like freshmen and sophomores on my team as well, and I feel like they came in like gossiping and being like high school girls, and it's just like, what are you guys doing? Like I don't know. And then they'd even talk about me. I mean, I wasn't somebody that, like I said, I wasn't the most popular person. I probably didn't say the most cool things. I liked being silly and goofy and immature, to a certain extent. But I feel like when you are yourself in high school, you get teased a little bit more. So I mean, I felt like I had a small deal of that when I was on my cheer team, because I feel like, I don't know, when you go into a cheer team, you probably expect like people to be like all a team. That's just kind of what it was not. It was like it was cliquey, and people had like, their little group inside this cheer team, and they would talk about the other girls on the same cheer team, and it's just like, it was never like an experience where I felt like we were all on the same team working towards the same thing. That kind of sucked, because that wasn't the experience that I was hoping to get from being a cheerleader. But that's kind of what goes for it. There was one time where there was this one girl who was out for a long time, so I had to fill in on their stunt group, and it was a stunt group that I didn't really know. So it was like, that's an adjustment. You're not used to this new stunt group. If you've never done cheerleading, a stunt group is where you like have like 4 girls, and 3 of them are holding one girl up high, in like a pyramid. So usually I was one of the girls holding the foot of one girl. I wasn't like behind the girl. I was holding the foot. And that's hard when you're used to your own stunt group and you have to adjust to someone else's stunt group, because they have their own communication and whatever. So I had to jump into this. The other girls were obviously not happy about it, and I could not help them get this stunt in the air. It was just not happening. I just couldn't do it. So my coach basically goes, okay, we're not going to do the stunt because you guys can't get it up. And so instead someone else did the stunt. But at the game, one of the girls from the stunt group goes, "Oh, the girl's coming back. The original girl, she's coming back." And then the other girl was like, "Oh, now we can finally do the stunt. We can finally get the stunt up." And then the other girl was like, "Shh," because I'm like in the room. And then I like looked back and I left because my ride was there. But I don't know. They do a lot of like talking on the side and talking with like their groups. But how did I get here? My point is, I had good and bad experiences in high school, but most I can say were good when it came to making friends. Until I moved. I moved from New Jersey to Florida basically my senior year of high school, which was difficult, but I don't know why I never really thought about it so difficult. I never was like, "Oh no, I can't leave this school. I love this school so much." I never really felt like that. I felt like, okay, new beginnings, which was, I guess that's a good thing. I mean, whatever. So anyway, we go to this new school. I was like, maybe I can meet some new friends, kind of almost start over. But it was very, very, very difficult. As a senior, jumping into like friend groups in high school is not likely. I'm sorry. I mean, unless you're like the most lovable, extroverted person ever. But that's where I think I really realized that I was an introverted individual. And I would go to class and I wouldn't talk to anybody. I would just sit back and observe and watch these people doing whatever they do. And I would sit in these classrooms not really saying anything. And it was kind of like, I would realize that, wow, I really don't like being social. This is, it was like I said, a culture shock almost, because Florida people and New Jersey people, they're very different people. So it was like, I don't really know what this is. I made a friend and then maybe an acquaintance off of that friend, and that was definitely enjoyable because I finally got to like have a conversation with somebody, and it was like, it felt like it had been such a long time since I had a normal conversation with somebody, and I was able to have a conversation with somebody, and I appreciate that person. But that, I think, is where I started realizing that, okay, I don't know if it's me, but I'm thinking about my social life. Like, I'm thinking about, what is going on with my social life right now? This is weird. Again, high school girls are mean. So, I mean, I had classes where I felt like freely. I felt like I was able to talk to people. It was a small class, like an art class, and we would have conversations kind of just like blurting things out because it was a small class, like with like maybe 7 students. And we would say things just like all to each other, all like blurting things out because, whatever. And I felt comfortable enough to do that. Now, no way. I don't know why. I need to like sit back and like wait and observe and figure out the vibe before I say anything. And that's kind of what I dislike about me right now. I'm so incredibly thoughtful about what comes out of my mouth to a point where I don't say anything or I miss my chance completely. And I think missing your opportunity to talk is worse than, just saying something, right? I don't know. When I moved to this new high school, I did not have, the level of friends that I had when I was at my old high school, and I definitely realized how much I missed that once I got there. People were definitely more mean in the school that I was at. They just were intimidating to me because I felt like there was a few instances, literally, I did not talk to anybody. I bothered no one. I didn't say anything. But there were a few different instances where, like, I felt like, why are you guys being mean to me for no reason? Like, I didn't even do anything. I'm just a new student who doesn't really talk. I just observe and I vibe, okay? I don't, come on. There was one time where, like, there was this one girl at my bus stop. And this girl at my bus stop, I guess we never really talked. But, if you're at my bus stop, I know who you are, right? So anyway, I was in the library talking to this other girl that was in that small class, and she walks past with one of her friends behind her, and I did like a double take because I don't know, I recognized somebody I know, whatever. I don't know, but she looked at me and I smiled because, not like a huge like creepy smile, just like a closed-lipped nodded smile. Like, I don't know if that's weird. Like, I've talked about this before. I think people really do think that's weird. But I only did it once, looked away, and then I hear her go, "Who's she looking at?" And I looked, and I was like, "No, she's not talking about me." And her friend was like, "Who are you talking about?" And This girl gives me like the dirtiest look and goes, her. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So that's what we're doing. It was funny how much this did not hurt me at all. I was like, wow. Okay. I mean, hey, that's the vibe. That's the vibe you're giving. That's great. Fantastic. That was terribly rude. And that's why I think it didn't hurt me, because I feel like she said it loud enough for me to hear on purpose. But it's like, really? Really? I mean, I don't know what you're going through, but that was unnecessary. Another experience that I had was literally being in the bathroom, and then this group of girls walks in. And this group of girls walk in. I'm like at the sink washing my hands, about to leave the bathroom. And then they're like all chatting. And then one of the girls is like, oh my gosh, I totally thought you were her. Meaning she thought that I was one of the girls she walked into the bathroom with. That girl looks at me and gives me the dirtiest look. And she goes, I know you're lying. Like I'm like ugly or something. First of all, my confidence at that point was pretty high. So when you have high confidence, things like that do not bother you. I kind of just like scoffed and like walked out, because it's just like, are you kidding? Are you serious right now? Why are you being mean for no reason? I didn't even say anything. I did not even say anything. And then another experience that I had which was less like serious, but I feel like it was like a low-key diss. And I would do my eyebrows. I still do my eyebrows, kind of, but I would do them up when I was in high school. Like, it was probably old, but like that drawing in, like the concealer under, defining your brow, whatever. I would do that because I have kind of big eyebrows. But anyway. And this one, we were talking about eyebrows in that small class that I was talking about before. And they were talking about mine. And they were like, oh, how do you do your eyebrows? This one girl. And I was like, oh, I just do this, that, and the other thing. And this girl's watching from the distance, this other girl. She goes, I don't even need to draw my eyebrows. I got eyebrows. Like, I got thick eyebrows. And I was like, so do I. It wasn't like, if you know what I mean, I feel like you know what I mean. But it's just like, what? Okay. All right. Anyway, moving on. So that's where I think I started to feel my first level of social burnout, because I was trying to make friends, but then I realized like this is not going to happen here. It's not going to happen here. And I could not wait for college. I could not wait to get out of there and go to college so I could try to start again and make new friends. And oh my gosh, I went to a college in New Jersey for an orientation, which I was like, I can't wait to go back to New Jersey and make friends again there and, start back, whatever. So I went to orientation in New Jersey for a college where you slept over at the college. You weren't started yet, but this is a few months prior. So I went there and I don't know what it was, but I could not talk to I was so conscious about everything that I said. And it was so weird. I was angry at myself because I was like, why am I not saying anything? Why am I not trying to make friends? I went to the events that they had for the orientation students and I would just walk around the room. It looked like everyone had friends. Everybody knew everybody. And it's just where did you find these people? There were a few people that were from my old high school that I saw and I was like, oh my gosh, I can hang out with them. But even them, one of the girls actually was on the cheer team, but she wasn't one of the people that I didn't like. So I tried to make friends with her, but she had other people. So she wasn't there for me. She wasn't hanging out with me. So I was like, okay, I'm on my own. I am a little scared and I don't know what to do. So, I had to kind of eat the cafeteria food by myself. I asked somebody, can I sit here? And oh, someone's sitting here. Okay. That was awkward, but whatever. We're going to brush it off and move it on. So I definitely started struggling there. Decided to go to college in Florida near home, not the college that I'm at now. I went there and that's kind of the first place I started making friends again. Or acquaintances, I'll say, classroom acquaintances. But we still talked outside of whenever we were leaving class. And I felt like, okay, there's certain instances where I feel like I'm not crazy and I'm able to do this. Like, I can do this. I'm not crazy. I can make friends and I can talk. Anyway, there was this one class, super cool group of people that I was talking to. You know, they were funny. We were talking. We were in group projects together, and it was just working, and it was good. And everybody was coming from different backgrounds, but it was still cool. And we would talk outside of class. We would be like, hey, you want to meet up to study? Did we ever meet up to study? No, but it was the effort, I think, that counts. And it was something that it was refreshing to feel like, okay, I thought I just totally don't have the ability anymore to make friends. That's what I thought. But obviously that's not true. Then COVID happened, and then we locked down literally right after that. And that kind of sucks when you feel like you're starting to, improve your social life. You go into a pandemic and lockdown. So I ended up, having to do all of my classes online. I finished my associate's degree online, which was honestly not that bad. I think that's where my social anxiety really picked up without me even knowing, until I got back into college at the college I'm at now, and I moved to campus, and I realized, whoa, no. College is, like I said in the last episode, if you listen to it, is the most unsocially social place ever. I cannot explain it any other way. Everyone's like, you have to get out there and be social, but when you do that, no one's even talking. And I don't know if other people feel the same way as me, since like the pandemic happened, like you're in the house all the time, so you don't really have to be social. Now everyone's outside, not social, and it makes it so much more awkward. Everyone just gets on their phone when they're uncomfortable. And it's just like, I would love to have a conversation with somebody that's willing to have a conversation. Someone that likes to talk about social issues, but like not get like super offended if we disagree. Someone that likes to do things like go out to eat and sit in the restaurant and like chill, or a coffee shop and study. Like, how do you find these people? Do you just go to the coffee shop and maybe like, no, like it just doesn't, I don't understand how to get in there. Anyway, I did a lot of the events on campus to see if maybe I can even like grasp a friend or grasp an acquaintance, but it never worked. Every single time, it never worked. Whether the event was canceled or the event was overly packed and I got like a wave of like social anxiety and I had to leave. Or I felt overwhelmed and I just was like, I don't know what to do. I ended up standing in the corner. No, because one event that I went to literally was so packed. It was like the room was hot. They could barely pack everybody into the room. And it seemed like first of all, bad for COVID and a danger, a hazard, a fire hazard, whatever. So I was a little on edge. Whether that everyone already had friends. It just didn't seem like, it seemed so, I don't know. So anyway, I would go to these events and then realize that it's not working, and then I would get frustrated with myself, go to the car, like try to figure out what like I do next, go home, go to sleep, do it again the next time, and I would try so hard to do these things, and then I got back again for like home, and I would be like, I'm never doing this again. Like, I can't keep doing this and acting like, I'm gonna find friends. I was so discouraged. I can't explain to you how discouraged I was. And I was burned out socially. So I didn't really leave the house much after that. I kind of just was like, let me just enjoy me and my peace and my, solitude. And if someone comes along to enjoy it with me or enjoy time, then great. But right now, I can't keep going out into public and being and disappointing myself. I guess you don't just meet friends when you expect it. But then how do you meet friends? I did go to a couple games with like my roommate's friends, which was very, very enjoyable. I can tell you that. And I really appreciated that invite because that it was refreshing. And I really did enjoy myself. But that's not going to happen all the time. But I just wanted someone that I could call to be like, hey, you want to go study at the coffee shop nearby? Do you want to go and to this event on campus? Do you want to go to this event off campus? Do you want to go shopping? Like, just stuff like that every now and again. But I didn't have that person. And it was hard to like even watch other people have that type of, thing and be like, I love college. And it's just like, how? When you say that to people too, that, college is not the vibe, they're not going to understand. So you're just going to have to like make your own experience and just, show them that the way that you're living your life or you're doing your college is the vibe. But they're not going to understand it when you say like, oh, it's not a social place. It's not a fun place. They're not going to get that. So it's not even worth trying to convince them that, whatever. It was also really hard because I felt like everyone else's values it did not align with my values. Everybody just wanted to go to the club, smoke, drink, hook up, which that was not my vibe. Again, I was like, this is not my vibe. And it feels like everybody wants to do that. At least the people that, want to act like they want to invite you out. Like, that's what they want to do. And that's not what I want to do. That's not my vibe at all. It's kind of the farthest from my vibe. I'm kind of like a chill, I'm a paint. I'm going to tell you, it's going to be hard to find somebody that's like that at my age. Chill vibe, neo soul, sage stick type person. Bookstore, coffee shop. I'm a very like mellow person. Like, I'm not like, but when I want to have like, I will have fun every once in a while, but like for the most part, I'm a very mellow person that goes at like a kind of a slower pace, kind of, but like not really. I want things to be happening. I want things to be going on, but I just like the almost aesthetic, like chill paced, that type of vibe. It makes me feel genuinely happy in my soul. And I feel like it's hard to find somebody that is like that can have a conversation about something deep and be okay with agreeing to disagree. If we do have a disagreement. I've had a friend that was like, we disagreed, but hey, we have differing opinions. So what are you going to do? End the friendship? No, you have differing opinions and that could happen, but that doesn't mean that you can't, like this person at all. So anyone that is there and they can be friends with someone that has a differing opinion from them, maybe like not like super like, opposite opinion, but like, or on a super controversial topic, but I'm talking, on the more mild side. I like people that can have a conversation, people that go into a coffee shop, people that like, are comfortable in themselves. And I'm learning to be comfortable with myself now. I'm learning that. It's never like a thing that just switches on in the middle of the night and then you wake up comfortable with yourself. I mean, if you have always been just like comfortable with yourself and comfortable with who you are and the music that you like and the food that you like to eat, the things you like to do, that's great. But sometimes like you have to really, teach yourself how to be comfortable with that. And I'm happy to I'm happy to be moving into a place where I am very comfortable with that. So that's nice. And I really do like that I am getting there. But yeah, I digress. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you for listening to the Introverts Talk 2 podcast. This is episode 8. So I think this is where I'm going to stop it for now. I will do some more episodes, but I do want to grow my new TikTok account and I want to start posting on Instagram as well, just to, you get me. Because I had to start a new TikTok account because the old one is just me venting about college and work, okay? And That's the only way I get views. But I kind of want there to be an account specifically for this podcast, specifically for people who want to listen to this podcast. So I can kind of get like a clear view of like what's going on with it and who, likes it, who wants to follow it, whatever. So that TikTok is called Introverts Talk To Podcast, just spelled right out. And that is on TikTok. My personal TikTok is going to be .KirstenH. And then Kirsten Arts are basically all of my other social media platforms. So that's nice. Thanks so much for listening. If you've made it this far, I appreciate your listening, I guess. My name's Kirsten. I'm your host, and thanks for listening. Okay, I'm done. Goodbye. I'll be back soon.